Hey guys, Nick here. I'm making this video to give you guys an update on the campaign and to share with you my plans for what to do with the funds that you have so generously provided. First, though, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone who has contributed, be it donating any money that you've been able to, or even sharing this campaign. It means so much to me that even complete strangers would be willing to help. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. So those of you who have been following this campaign, who have read the information that I've provided, know that I lost my mom back in 2016. I got a call on my 31st birthday that my mom had fallen into a coma, and I drove all day from Puyallup, Washington, down to Redding, California, to be with her. She was still in the coma when I arrived, and I was at her bedside talking to her, crying, probably mostly crying, and eventually fell asleep right next to her, and she passed that night. I'd also lost my dad the year before. He lost a very, very quick battle with esophageal cancer. When he started complaining of throat pain to his doctor, they discovered that he was already stage 4, and less than a month later, he was gone. Being, I'd like to think, a good son, I did my best to help, and I put a lot of the strain of those funeral expenses on myself. Depleted my savings and had to utilize credit for it. Needing a change, I decided to move to Michigan, northern Michigan, a place called the Keweenaw Peninsula. I had a friend stationed in the Army who was from this area speak highly of it, how beautiful it was, that it was remote, and that it also had a pretty cheap cost of living. So that kind of appealed to me because I was broke, and I really just needed a change. So in June of 2016, I moved out here. I was doing pretty bad at first. Depressed, unable to get out of bed a lot, but eventually things started getting a bit better. I had started seeing a doctor, getting therapy, and I was on a medication called Wellbutrin that was helping, and things were going better. I got a job, and I was making timely payments on my debts. I was paying my rent, everything, and things were going well. But then eventually COVID happened, and when COVID happened, I got laid off. I wasn't an essential worker, and they decided to let some people go, and I was one of them. When that happened, I was living pretty much paycheck to paycheck, paying off my debts, making sure that my debts were paid off, but I wasn't able to make savings or anything. So when I lost my job, things started to get really, really tight. And I ended up making the decision to sell my car just so I could keep up on my payment, because I really didn't want to keep falling farther and farther into debt. Well, finding work became much harder without a vehicle. I started missing payments, started only being able to really make like interest payments, but still missing some payments, and my credit getting even worse and worse, to the point where I dropped to, I think, mid 400s to high 400s. It got pretty bad. Right now, I do some remote online freelance work, and helping neighbors if I can. Do yard work or chores or whatever, just to make a few bucks. But I'm barely making enough to survive as it is. I don't have a vehicle. The good places to work are literally 20 to 30 minutes away by car. Being a really remote area, all of this is reached exclusively by highway. And our winters get pretty bad. We get many feet of snow and very, very, very cold weather. So it's impossible to really walk to work that long in blizzard-like conditions, or just whiteout conditions, or just wading through feet of snow, because you don't want to be walking on the plowed highways that are slippery with cars speeding past. It's just not something that I would recommend. So I'm here looking for help. Now, I've been looking at cars on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, seeing what my options are, and there have been a few. The only problem is I'd love to share with you guys kind of what I've been looking at, but some of the ones that I've seen that were really good have already sold, and some of them are not very good for the prices that I'm looking at, because being a bad area with snow and all this, we salt our roads and we get something called Yooper rust. This rust eats the undercarriages of vehicles, can rot out struts, important parts of the car. The body gets rusted of these vehicles, so finding one that's decently maintained at this price is hard, but it is possible. But I have to be very selective. My price range is up to $2,000, obviously, which is what the campaign is for. Any extra I was going to use to get it registered, keep it roadworthy. I also have to renew my license because I've been kind of stuck up here and haven't been able to do that. And insurance, which is a big thing up here. You can't even get the title, register the car without insuring it. So that's what I'm looking for support for. And all the help that you guys have provided so far has just been great. It's been phenomenal, and I really appreciate it. So thank you again. And I'd like to end with, things have been hard. I would like to go back to therapy, to get back on the medication that I need to be back on so I can improve things. I've been looking at some jobs. There are some good ones that would start out at a decent pay that I think would just be a good fit for me. And I just want to get back on my feet and work towards paying off that debt myself. That's why I'm not asking for a huge amount of money. I think it's important that we do pay our own way, but sometimes we do need a little help, and that's what I'm here for. And also, without my cats, which are behind me, I've got Mocha over here and Lucky right there, I don't know where I'd be. They have really been the only thing keeping me alive. And I know that's bad to say. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad, but without them, I honestly don't know where I'd be. So I thank God that I have them. Because things have been difficult. I have gotten to some really, really low points, and I hate to think where I'd be if not for them. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. Thank you for the support. And I really look forward to completing this campaign and to be able to get a vehicle and to make a lasting change. Thank you. Goodbye.